Imagine waking up one morning, and the world's most powerful currency is suddenly collapsing. Banks panic, gold prices explode, stock markets crash, countries begin fighting to protect their economies. Sounds impossible, right? But what if the US dollar actually collapses? The US dollar is not just America's currency. VI is the backbone of the global economy. Most countries trade using dollars. Oil is bought in dollars. International business runs on dollars. In fact, many countries keep billions of dollars in reserve because they trust the United States economy. This is what gives America enormous power. The US can print money, borrow huge amounts, and still survive because the entire world depends on the dollar. But recently, cracks have started appearing. America's national debt is rising to dangerous levels. Inflation has hurt millions of people. Banks have faced serious pressure. And now, some countries are trying to move away from the dollar completely. Nations like China and Russia are increasing trade in their own currencies. BRICS countries are discussing alternatives to the US dollar. At the same time, central banks around the world are buying massive amounts of gold. Why? Because gold survives when currencies fail. If the dollar collapses, the first shock would hit global financial markets. Stock markets could crash worldwide. Banks may freeze withdrawals. Investors would panic because almost every economy is connected to the US financial system. Oil prices could become extremely unstable. Since oil is mainly traded in dollars, a weak dollar could create chaos in global trade. And then comes gold. During every major crisis in history, investors rush toward gold. If trust in the dollar disappears, gold prices could explode to record highs. India would also feel the impact. Fuel prices could rise. Imports may become expensive. The stock market could turn volatile. But India may also benefit in some ways if global trade slowly shifts away from dollar dominance. But let's be realistic. The US dollar is still the strongest currency in the world. America has the world's largest economy, strongest military, and enormous global influence. So a complete collapse tomorrow is unlikely. However, the world is slowly preparing for a future where the dollar may no longer dominate everything. Empires rise, currencies rise, and history shows nothing rules forever. The real question is not whether the world will change. The real question is, are we already watching the beginning of that change?